Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be covering tips for hiring data engineers, including prioritizing skills and needs for your team, different types of data engineers, and how they differ from data scientists, and other market trends that may impact hiring. More specifically, in today's video, we'll be talking about key data engineering tools as an overview, common data engineer specializations, including job titles, differences in job responsibilities, and the increase in hybrid roles, data engineers versus data scientists, and hiring tips, including things like key skills that can set you apart and the importance of soft skills, along with the also important continuous learning. For those of you who aren't familiar with Burtch Works, we're an executive recruiting firm specializing in quantitative fields like analytics, data science, and data engineering. Over the past several years, Birchworks market insights have been repeatedly mentioned in the press, including The Economist, The New York Times, The Wall Street Journal, CNBC, and the Chicago Tribune, among any others. Birchworks has also been repeatedly recognized by Forbes as one of America's best recruiting firms. Our data engineering recruiting team shares their expertise with thousands of data engineers and their employers, including plenty of resources about data engineering careers and hiring on the Birchworks Blog and their YouTube channel. And in the fall of 2021, we'll be releasing our first data engineer salary report, which will look at compensation, talent, and market trends and other insights on the data engineering space. Data engineering is a specialty that relies very heavily on tool knowledge, and there sure are a lot to learn. Obviously, the exact tools required will vary from role to role, but these are some of the most common ones we usually see requested by employers. Hadoop, Spark, Python, Scala, SQL, AWS, Azure, Docker, Snowflake, Airflow. Often the attitude is the more the merrier, but luckily there are plenty of resources like Coursera or EDX for training. Overall, we find that data engineers with the strongest skill sets are always those who are constantly evolving with the latest trends in technology. Data engineers will want to work with employers that explore big data tools, and since staying up to date is more important than ever, many will take classes online or even switch jobs to get the experience they need to stay marketable. As the data engineering field continues to evolve alongside shifts and advancements in technology, there have been some specializations emerging that focus on different backgrounds and job responsibilities. Job titles are, of course, fluid and can vary greatly depending on the organization. Depending on who you're talking to, even data engineer could mean something completely different. Since many are unsure of how to define these areas, we're going to cover 5 common focus areas in data engineering. So we'll outline their typical responsibilities and also mention some other job titles you may hear. Big data engineers typically have software engineering backgrounds. They design and build complex data pipelines, work closely with data scientists to put code into production, and they typically use a lot of tools and are expert coders using Python, Java, Scala, and maybe C++. They'll have experience in Hadoop ecosystems, Spark, AWS, etc. Business intelligence engineers typically have data warehousing backgrounds. They work to understand and gather business requirements to then design and build reporting solutions. They support data warehouses, ETL, dashboards, and reports. Common tools and technologies for these professionals can include SSIS, Power BI, Tableau, RDBMS systems, and MicroStrategy. We often see lots of confusion on the difference between a data engineer and a BI engineer. But typically, a BI engineer is working with smaller amounts of structured data and comes from more of a data administration or warehousing background. Machine learning engineer is what we'd like to call a hybrid role. This role bridges the gap between data engineering and data science. These folks come from data engineering backgrounds and have enough experience to be proficient in both data engineering and data science. They take what a data scientist finds and get it ready for production. They create the last part of the data science pipeline, which could be rewriting code from R or Python into Java or Scala. Computer vision engineers will usually have a software engineering background, specializing in machine learning and maybe deep learning techniques in relation to object detection, pattern recognition, face recognition, object tracking, etc. They are a mix between data and machine learning engineers and use tools like Python, C++, OpenCV, MATLAB, Java, and Spark. Oftentimes, they'll have a master's or PhD in computer science. Data architects will usually have software engineering or database administration backgrounds. They are the go-to data management person who works closely with the business users to make sure all needs are met. They have extensive knowledge of databases and a strong understanding of how data relates to business operations. They develop data architecture and work with a team of data engineers to execute their data strategy. There are many different types of roles in this space. Some other data engineering job titles may include Hadoop developer, BI developer, quantitative data engineer, search engineer, ML ops engineer, solutions architect, data warehouse engineer, data science software engineer, ETL developer, and that's just to name a few. We often get a lot of questions from employers and professionals alike about the plethora of job titles and specializations that are emerging in this profession. But we also wanted to talk a little bit about how data engineers differ from data scientists. We're seeing an increased interest from clients looking to hire big data engineers who deal with data from end to end, including the statistics and modeling. The data engineer title is still fairly new, and data scientists used to be required to do it all. Breaking it up and having a data engineer do one thing and a data scientist do another is really important, as it's difficult for someone to be an expert in so many different things at once. These skill sets are different. Yes, there is a lot of overlap, but it is extremely difficult to have one person be efficient in performing both responsibilities. One client recently described a machine learning engineer as a full stack data scientist. And we've been specifically noticing an increase in these roles within the medical and healthcare related fields. This focus on finding someone who can do it all could potentially be because of the type of data these professionals are dealing with, including IoT or streaming data. So what's the difference between data engineers and data scientists? Here are some of the most common skills and responsibilities for data scientists and data engineers. Data scientists will analyze data to glean insights and prescribe action that they have the quantitative skills to develop statistical models. They may also work with structured data, but more often they'll be working with unstructured or streaming data. Data scientists often have domain experience to fully contextualize their data and analysis. While they have programming skills to analyze data, their coding skills are usually not at the same level as a data engineer because they don't need to be. A data engineer uses their programming skills to build data products. They can specialize in distributed systems, often including cloud technologies. They may build complex or highly scalable data pipelines, big data frameworks, etc. Strong data engineers are experts at picking tools and technologies in order to build the pipeline, and they may understand data science concepts and principles and may do some analysis, but typically not at the same level as a data scientist. Although data scientists may also be adept at data acquisition or cleaning and transformation, the skill that often differentiates them from data engineers is their ability to analyze data and develop insights from that data. There are many similarities and often skill overlap between data engineers and data scientists. However, the main differences are that data engineers' skills will lean more towards programming and software engineering to build highly scalable data products, while data scientists will focus more on advanced statistical analysis to pull insights out of the data and bring value to the business. They also tend to have different academic backgrounds, with data scientists more likely to come from a statistics or mathematics background, as well as computer science, engineering, or physics. Many will have a master's or PhD. Data engineers may have a degree in computer science, computer engineering, information systems, or information technology. They will typically have a bachelor's or master's, and it's less common to see PhDs in this group. Both may use a wide variety of tools to tackle their work. We've listed some of the common ones we tend to see here, but we're hearing about new ones all the time. To dig into this a little further, here's a trend from our 2021 data engineering predictions and trends video from earlier this year. In it, we discussed a larger trend that we're seeing, which is the increasing prevalence of hybrid roles or companies attempting to find someone for a hybrid role. One example could be a role with data engineering, machine learning engineering, and DevOps all rolled into one position. There are a few potential reasons why we might see companies do this. One is that if the data organization is still relatively green, they might not be exactly sure what they need yet or what makes sense for them. So they're looking to find somebody who can do a bit of everything while they figure it out. Another reason could be with a small company who might have limited ability to hire a large team of data professionals. So they want to find someone or a few people who can wear a lot of hats. This is a very common situation. And while having this type of experience can be somewhat beneficial, we found that some data engineers can find these positions frustrating if they find themselves spending a lot of time doing tasks that aren't in their primary skill set. And we'd usually discourage employers from trying to roll too many different positions into one. So now that we've covered different types of data engineering positions and tools, we wanted to share some of our tips for employers looking to hire data engineers, including identifying the right talent for your needs, ways to streamline your hiring process, how work from home is evolving in the data engineering landscape, and allowing access to the latest tools. A very common trend we've been seeing lately is roles that come with a near exhaustive list of requirements. Many data engineering roles now, whether entry or executive level, come with a laundry list of requirements, tools, and soft skills that are required in order for a candidate to get past the HR recruitment team layer and later on to a direct review from the hiring manager. This can not only make finding a candidate that meets all of these requirements very difficult, but also if there are too many hard requirements, then you may miss out on otherwise expertly qualified candidates who don't necessarily tick every box. Here are some of the ways you can identify the right data engineering talent. Be clear about what tools are required day one versus what can be learned on the job. Save the hard requirements for the skills and tools that are absolutely needed from day one. Is there a team in place that can help get this new hire up to speed on tools that they may not be an expert in? Take advantage of your internal resources. Prioritize the other skills and tools that you're hoping to find. Once you've determined what are requirements versus nice to haves, take a look at your list and see if you can further prioritize within each category to highlight the tools and skills that are most important to you. While you obviously want to make sure that the candidate you're hiring will be a good fit for the role, since data engineering is an area with so many tools, I usually recommend that hiring managers help to prioritize the skills that are most important. This helps ensure that HR and talent acquisition, who may be less familiar with these tools, aren't disqualifying strong candidates based on a few keywords or tools missing from their resume. Evaluate your requirements and choose a salary range accordingly. Keep in mind that the more tools, experience, and education you require, the higher the salary you'll see for candidates possessing all of those skills or credentials. Recruiters can usually help with determining a fair range for the level, or we can at least keep you posted on what we're seeing in the market as we're talking to talent that fits what you're looking for. And if the salary is a concern, keep in mind more junior hires. If your budget constraints are making it difficult to attract the level of candidate you're looking for, it's helpful to be open-minded about a more junior candidate with the potential to grow into a more senior role. Many data engineers are keen on learning and career growth opportunities, so offering these types of resources and future opportunities can actually make your role more attractive to potential talent. And now we also wanted to share a few ways that you can adjust your hiring process to better secure data engineering talent. See if you can identify benchmark candidates to target your search. Once you've had the chance to evaluate everything you're looking for and develop your ideal candidate profile, is there someone out there that is perfect, or maybe someone who's already on your staff that you want to duplicate? Sharing a benchmark profile with recruiters can help give us a general outline for what the candidate looks like on paper and help us better target the search. Grant access to the hiring manager. As recruiters, we want to provide our client companies with quality, relevant profiles to help fill roles quickly while also making the interview process smooth for both candidates and clients. Having access to the hiring manager to learn the specifics of their needs helps us immensely. A strong job description is part of this, but it can only go so far. Even for recruiters specializing in data engineering roles and who are familiar with a wide variety of tools, technologies, and how they are used, it can be hard to pitch jobs successfully without having the whole picture about the team, culture, and future of the role. The sooner we have the conversation, the sooner we get to know what you need without wasting time in the early stages. Here's a quick example of how talking directly to a hiring manager can assist your recruiters. Let's say ABC company needs a data architect with cloud development experience, AWS, Azure, or GCP, who can be their data storage expert and push their data capabilities forward. Before we talk to any data engineering candidates, it would be helpful to get additional information from the hiring manager, including questions like, what cloud platform are you planning to use? Have you already migrated into a cloud-based environment? What is the overall tech stack being used by your data teams? What are some of the biggest challenges this group is facing right now, and how will this hire help to improve them? It's important for us to be able to paint a picture around the current state of the organization in order to pitch the job to top talent and be able to answer their questions about the type of company environment they'd be joining. Feedback from hiring managers helps us target our search. Feedback on profiles we've submitted or candidates you've interviewed is what helps us better understand the type of candidate you're after. Whether the feedback is positive or negative, all commentary can be useful in narrowing down the talent pool and identifying a great match. Two other common considerations when hiring data engineers are visa candidates and your location. Some companies shy away from candidates requiring visa transfers because they believe that the timing will be an issue. However, the pool of data engineering talent is already small. And with many strong candidates on a visa, some employers may miss out on the perfect candidate. By the time they hire someone who doesn't need visa support, they could have already done an H-1B transfer via premium processing. In terms of location, is your company based in a place that has a smaller local talent pool, or have you had difficulties finding talent that will relocate? Flexibility is key in this situation. If you have an amazing candidate that is interested in your company but can't relocate, or you don't have the budget to support their move, what can you do? More data engineering jobs are going 100% remote. We've been seeing more and more companies offer remote work as an added benefit to joining their organization, especially if they can't offer the same perks of the competition. We've also seen some companies opening satellite offices in order to expand their reach to potential talent. Especially over the past year, there has been a noticeable increase in remote working opportunities, and this has a variety of advantages for the talent market. This opens doors for both data engineers looking for opportunities in a variety of locations, as well as for employers who are looking to broaden their talent reach. It can also reduce the cost of hiring substantially, especially if companies are able to access talent in less expensive areas and do not have to pay for relocation expenses. Here are some of the comments that we've collected along the way when asking people about remote work. Many companies who might not have been as open to remote work prior to the pandemic have now been able to see firsthand some of the many benefits of working remotely through the success of their team over the last year and a half. And many of the data engineers we work with now prefer remote work or at least more flexibility. The truth is, commuting takes up a lot of time for some, so remote work allows people to put more time in at their desk, for better or for worse. And we're getting closer to life back to normal, hopefully. So recently, Burtch Works conducted a flash survey to better understand how our audience felt about working from home, including data engineers, data scientists, and marketing researchers. We asked if you had a choice, work from home or not, which would you choose? We wanted to only offer the two binary options in case, so that we could see what people would pick if they could only choose one or the other. And nearly 75% said work from home. Our second question delved further into how many days, if someone had complete freedom to choose, they would want to be in the office. Our thinking is that many employers would really be interested to see this breakdown as they evaluate their office and work from home approaches after pandemic restrictions have been lifted. Here we found that the largest segment of respondents, 34%, would prefer to be in the office 2 days a week, followed in popularity by 24% of the sample who preferred 3 days. Only a very small percentage said they prefer to be in the office 4 or 5 days, 6% and 2% respectively. When we looked at the average number of days preferred by data engineers, it was 1.95, which is actually the same for all of the groups we looked at. So it's a common desire to be in the office about 2 days a week. The big question is, what will some of the long-term impacts of working from home be? It will certainly widen the talent pool and companies will have greater options. On the other hand, job seekers will also have more employment choices, so it's even more competitive than it was before. Will this reduce salaries? The answer for that is maybe. To give you an example, Mark Zuckerberg said that Facebook employees will have salary adjustments if they choose to live away from the headquarters in Silicon Valley. Another big impact that we have seen is onboarding challenges. For professionals with experience, it might not be as much of a challenge, but for professionals in their first few years on their career, it might be a real challenge to come into a new environment. More work from home questions are based on collaboration, sense of communication, and work culture. How well do you think being in a work from home environment long term is? How do you maintain productivity? Childcare is also a huge issue. With remote learning becoming the norm, at least for some, it's a really tough balancing act. Many parents are asking for part-time work or flexible hours to balance this out. Some have even decided to quit their jobs altogether to take care of their children. Hadoop has been on the decline for years, but now more than ever, it will be extremely difficult to attract data engineering talent with a Hadoop ecosystem and no cloud capabilities. Cloud is everywhere right now, and strong talent are drawn to organizations that are using the latest tools and technologies to push the business forward. We've had many calls with data engineers and hiring leaders who are trying to get away from Hadoop. This isn't a huge surprise. With the rise of Apache Spark and AWS, things have been changing very quickly, and not having cloud experience has become very limiting for candidates seeking new opportunities. In terms of in-demand cloud platforms, AWS, Azure, and GCP are always at the top of the list. AWS especially has a lot of flexibility, so it's a highly desired addition to a data engineer's toolkit. Obviously, there are many, many different tools that go along with all of these products and serve different functions, and so it's becoming increasingly common for employers to target their searches around specific tools. We've had this conversation with early career data engineers quite often, and even more experienced engineers who are trying to transition into the big data world. We usually discuss different options on how to up their skill set when they don't have the opportunity through their current employer. We've seen that strong talent is drawn to organizations that are using updated tools and technologies, and most data engineers know that they need to constantly be working on their skills and learning new things in order to be the best in their field. Giving your data engineering talent access to training or opportunities to earn certifications is a huge plus and can be a strong draw for potential new hires, as well as great for retaining your star talent. Good luck on your hiring journey. For more hiring market insights, check out birchworks.com/blog, where you can find blogs on COVID-19 hiring trends, skills, hiring tips specifically for the data engineering field, and other advice, along with all of our research and much, much more. If you're looking to add to your data engineering staff, we'd be happy to speak with you and do some brainstorming. We offer contingency, retained, and contract staffing services, from entry level up to senior leadership. Just send us an email at info@birchworks.com to learn more. We can also follow Birchworks across our social media channels to stay up to date on our latest posts. And on our YouTube channel, you can find our 2021 predictions for data engineering, with more data engineering videos coming soon. And if you'd like to see if we can help add to your data engineering staff, don't forget info@birchworks.com to start the process. You can also email us there if you're looking to change careers and want to explore what the market has to offer. Thank you for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day.